Wishman to go deep throat at 12 gauge. So that's been reported and blocked. So let's just get into it here. Let's see. Got a few things here from Red Shirts Always Die. We go through. Let's start off with, let's see. Yeah, let's take care of the evergreen subject of network executives that haven't got a clue. What else loads on mine? I don't know if it's going out yet. But apparently, the guys at Netflix have some kind of worry about people not really paying attention to what's on screen. Now, this is a problem as old as television, okay? Gary Marshall pointed out, it's like people generally don't watch TV at home like this. Taking notes. It's usually like, hey, somebody get the phone and just shut the guy. Well, what did he say? Nanu, what the hell? There's stuff going on at home that you can't account for. And there's no way to account for. But apparently this when you might be man talking about Netflix. There's a policy, it's rumored at least, but about script writing. Let's get into it here. You have to give it to Mike McMahon. He's not pulling any punches. With the end of Star Trek Lower Decks, the series creator had been very vocal of a trending topic that recently caught headlines. Apparently, Netflix is now instructing creators that scripts should have explanations of what's happening, so that those who are only partially watching can still keep up with the program they're watching. Okay, Netflix is an on-demand thing, and you can rewind. You can back up if you think you missed something. So, like, even though they're really not, it's stupid and shows the disconnect that millionaires and billionaires have compared to the people who are watching their products. If people wanted to really pay attention to something, they would. No amount of hand-wringing is going to get someone to pay more attention to some slops you made on the cheap. And McMahon agrees. When the trending topic broke online, McMahon chimed in via his Blue Sky account saying, "Back in 2019, I was told while making Lower Decks that too much happened in each episode. What if someone is making spaghetti and only half paying attention? I told them the person making spaghetti would have had to have gone to the app, clicked play, then started to ignore it, and there is no amount of hand-holding I can do to help them." He's absolutely correct in this statement. You can't force someone to care about something instead of accepting that some people just want background noise while they're shuffling about. Common trend of the cable era. Executives think they can further fix what's not broken. Some people would rather hear the hustle and bustle of a narrative unfolding around them as opposed to music or silence. Forcing something that could diminish the quality of a project to cater to people who aren't asking to be catered to is just short-sighted rubbish. It's also why Netflix is in the hole that it is financially. While I lament the applications like Paramount Plus, it does have a lot of positives to Netflix. It doesn't have the same subscriber base, and if you're not on free TV, putting your content behind a paywall just doesn't make sense. Still, they at least have more tailored. They're at least more tailored to the viewing habits of more modern viewers. They release things weekly. They allow live viewing of major events, and they seem to be willing to work with creators for far more than Netflix. It's not perfect. They're still in this for the money and are willing to axe shows like Star Trek Prodigy to bolster their bottom line. But they do at least avoid some of the pitfalls that plague Netflix. Thankfully, you have creators like Mike McMahon who are willing to push back against network executives who are out of touch with reality. Now, as far as network executives, a lot of them have always been out of touch with reality. So, but hey, Daniel. But yeah, that's the thing. You can't. All you can do is put it out there and hope they watch. You can't sit on them. You can't send someone to the house and put them on the couch and sit on them and make them watch. If all they want is background noise, that's all you get. Hey, it's a set tune to your product. That's the best you can do. You can claim a viewer that way. And that's why Netflix does the thing where it's just suddenly, are you still watching? It's like, It's really annoying. If you are still watching, the thing pops up. I don't think I've had that happen during a show, but it's like, yes, I'm still watching. So get the fuck on my screen. But I think it's probably the infusion of some tech people involved there. It's making we need to make sure they're watching our quality program. We'll make a quality program and they'll watch. Now here's something I think that probably should be a little more prevalent. I'm gonna give it a second because I'm not sure it's loaded on my end. Come on, there we go. Yes, Section 31 actor is terrified of how the movie is going to be received. Yes, should be, because it won't be. Premiere of Section 31, Paramount Plus's first Star Trek streaming movie, is only a few weeks away, and many fans still haven't decided whether they will tune in. The trailers and first looks have been much different than anything we've seen before. Naturally, we're uncertain as to whether it's something we're going to like. As it turns out, one of the actors in the movie, Robert Kaczynski, who plays Zeph, told SFX magazine via Games Radar that he was, I'm terrified of how it's going to be received because it's not the Star Trek people want. Congratulations for saying the quiet part out loud. Not saying it's what they're, no, this is not what the Star Trek people want. So why are you putting it out? As an actor, that has to be a scary proposition, especially considering there's a lot right on this movie. Many even think that Star Trek Legacy, their series that most every fan wants, is right on whether or not Section 31 does well. No, it's not. Even after that last bit, we just said where the execs are out of touch, they're not that out of touch. They know the petition that was signed. People want Legacy. Nobody wants the Section 31 thing. So, no, I don't think Legacy is riding on whether or not Section 31 does well. It'll just show, yeah, people don't like Alex Kurtzman stuff. We knew that already. That's why Discovery got the plug pulled after season 5. Once that guarantee was over, you're done. All right. Kaczynski pointed out that the Trek that people want, the Trek that we all want, is just 1,000 more episodes of whatever. And while to some extent that is true, the newer series have found their followings, very tiny followings of idiots, I think. Just look at the fan campaign that was then taken to save Star Trek Prodigy when it was canceled, or the one that was responsible for Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Yeah, I'm beginning to wonder if that was such a bright idea, in retrospect. As I mentioned before, not everyone likes the same thing when it comes to Trek. This is Rachel Carrington, by the way, so she's a bit of a rah-rah. There are plenty of fans who still haven't watched a single episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. You should. Some of the best of it, and Enterprise. Still trying to get Rosetta to give it a shot. Okay. But you only leave the horses in the trough so many times. If they don't want to drink, they don't drink. But those series still have legions of fans that have made them more popular today than they were back when they originally aired. Will everyone like Section 31? No. Will there be harsh reviews? Absolutely. But there will also be people who love this different type of Trek and hunger for more. Yeah, these are the people who are completists. They want anything with a Star Trek label on it. Doesn't matter if it's crap or not. And unfortunately, they're part of the problem. Because they're the ones who, they will happily pay to the nose for the crap, and that's what we're going to keep getting, is crap. We need to be a little more discerning, kids. Okay? But yeah, no. Legacy is not riding on whether or not Section 31 does well. Good God. If it is, then we are really in trouble. And let's move on to here. Yeah. Yeah, section. It's a one and done, at least, but also Academy. We can say that same thing. Nobody wants that. It's been the idea has been trotted out how many times over the years. Roddenberry himself had to shoot this thing down. Okay, that is why he came back for Next Generation. They're going to have cadets on the Enterprise getting into trouble. In fact, Roddenberry was actually talking to Filmation back in '68, or so, 69, about a Star Trek cartoon. But at the time, they were doing what the typical Saturday morning cartoon approach was. They were going to have young, kids, kind of younger counterparts of the main characters. And the kids would get the hijinks and get into trouble, and the parents had to bail them out. And of course, that went nowhere because we're not going to do that. They're not, not going to do that kind of typical fee. I mean, one of the pitches, for Star Trek in the first place was no smart ass kids and no wisecracking robots. That's this is playing right into that. But what the original idea was, they were going to do Next Generation, whatever title was, but they were going to do no show, regardless. And the idea was we cadets on the Enterprise doing things. And Roddenberry's whole thing is, cadets are back at the academy. They're students. We don't put them in the front lines. That's why we have Starfleet with experienced officers. And he kind of walked into a bit of a trap there when he was on the phone to somebody at Paramount. What they meant? No, I could do something better than that now. And they came back. Would you? I think they were kind of hitting a few brick walls here and there. We got let's call Roddenberry. See if he's got something. See if we can get him to come back to work. And with that, it's like, okay, fine. It's okay. Put up and shut up. Put up or shut up at times. Get it set up. And then we got and he laid down about what you do with this situation. You don't And again, his big thing was he was going to you advance it forward. You don't keep moving forward. You don't because I think he really would have been a hard sell, especially at that point on a prequel. But no, we're not interested. Then we want to move forward, see what happens after this. So it's like on that scale. One, I think with Discovery, he'd have fired the whole lot of them just for pitching it. To get out of my office. Get off the slot. But the special with what they had to mind is like, you're undermining everything we've built up to this point. Get the hell off my lot. Prodigy, I think he could have been sold on Prodigy. It would have been tough. Because then you are talking the kids on a ship. And I was very skeptical because we weren't given a lot of background of how these kids find this ship and how do they get away with flying around the galaxy without Starfleet throwing them all in prison. But once I explained, no, the ship was lost in the Delta Quadrant and these kids find and they got, okay, that makes a little more sense. And eventually, all right. And they've been a very good show. Although the fact that they apparently are in the second season leading right up into the Synth Rebellion on Mars, like, oh, you had to go there. You had to tie it into Discovery. It's like, yeah. But at that point, it's like, okay, that's it. You're done. I mean, it was a tough sell regarding, because Jankom Pog, it's like he's supposed to be a Tellarite, looks like a Talaxian. It's like, and one of the writers actually on Twitter actually, no, we've never seen an adolescent Tellarite, and then when they're young, they look like Talaxians. It's just, it's why they get, no different than all these other aliens that look like humans. So, okay, I'll buy it. Okay, if the show's well written enough, I'll buy a Dodge like that. But yeah, if they turns out they are going right in with the center blades, that's it. I'm out. Yeah, had me to now, but it's like you're out now. It's out now. But let's get that there, and let's move on to the next one here. Whoops, wrong button. Yeah, let's get on with this one here. From Chad here. It's like, Strange New Worlds gave much needed depth to original characters. Most of them original characters that shouldn't be there in the first damn place. That's, often seen as the new flagship entity within the larger Star Trek universe. Well, thankfully, it's also been shuffled up an alternate timeline along with Discovery. Set the pace once again. The template, the blueprint, another proof of a concept for how Star Trek could and should work. It's basically following the same formula. Yeah, let's. They got it working because it followed the same basic formula of the original series, an episodic, episode, Planet of the Week thing. Making the writers actually write and not just punt it down the road. Oh, we'll resolve this somewhere, 6 episodes. No, you're going to resolve it now because it's a different story next week. So, but they're not exactly breaking any new ground here. There's a lot of reinventing the wheel for no good reason. Let's see. On the one hand, character like Lon Noonien Singh, idiotic idea. Considering that supposedly, if this leads into the original series, well, Space Seed is supposed to be coming up, and there is no way you're going to have a descendant of Khan on your ship serving with Spock, and this not go unnoticed. It's like, no, it doesn't work. It does not work at all. It totally undermines the entire thing. So it's like, whoever had this bright idea needs to get slapped upside the head with a 2x4. Erica Ortega, I like the character of Ortegas. One, it's an original character. Hammer, I don't know, a blind engine, whatever. I've heard it. Palea, it's just Carol Kane being Carol Kane. Yet the show also bounces new and old, bringing in characters from original pilot and series like Christopher Pike. Number one. Uhura and Mbenga have no business being on that ship in that time frame. Which is a cadet. You don't put a cadet out there like that, okay? It's fun to make these classic characters feel fresh and new, because you're not playing them like the old anyway. One note in the front, like Christy. I think they did it. What Are Little Girls Made Of? I think did a lot with Chapel there. Okay. I mean, she didn't have much to do with us, but she had her moments. Okay, throughout the show. And T'Pring it's just for the one episode. So like, what the hell are we doing? And they've also totally screwed that up. Because it's supposed to be leading to the original series, right? Well, Amok Time, nobody had ever heard of this babe, okay? I mean, Uhura, she's lovely. Who is she? Was Spock? She's the Brig, my wife. Christine's right there in the bridge. Uhura's, and it's like, they never heard of her, so where the hell is this coming from? He never mentioned that he even ever had a girlfriend before. Okay. Yeah, and they not only dragged T'Pring in, they made her a girl boss. It's like this. I'm sorry. Strange in the World gets praised for it. It's been done by better people. See, we're not hurting for Spock's backstory, the lone exception of the series, but finding out more about Una or Pike has made them feel brand new characters. Well, again, they didn't do much. They had one episode, a pilot, and a lot going on there. Moving on here, the depth of classic ideas series. The classic ideas separate from shows like Star Trek Picard or Star Trek Lower Decks. Here's the Zoo's legacy character. Again, Scotty has no business being there. Certainly not at that point. Kirk is not supposed to meet until he takes over command of the Enterprise, which is supposed to be another, few more years away. Except for Uhura never got her due on the original show. Well, again, everyone seems to get this thing. It was an ensemble show, and then unfortunately, the other cast of said, it was an ensemble. No, it wasn't. Okay, it wasn't. the original show was not an ensemble show. You had your lead, and you had a couple of co-stars. Shatner starring, and D. Kelly and Leonard Nimoy were the two main male leads. Everyone else was essentially a day player. You had recurring parts, but these people, but Scotty wasn't in it. He was mentioned in a couple episodes. He was not in. So yeah, Uhura wasn't in every episode. That's one of the little inconsistencies with Star Trek Continues with their little first vignette, where they put an extra ending on to Turnabout Intruder, where originally it's like if only in the end of the thing that's watch the ship fly off. They expand a bit on that. We have a little conversation on the way up to the bridge, and they get Kirk comes out and it's like there's Uhura. Uhura wasn't in Turnabout Intruder. That's a bit of a wiggle thing. Okay, she was off duty during most of the episode. She just came back from leave. That's the way you can work it out. But again, it's like originally Nichelle Nichols was not in that episode. And go and look it up on IMDb. It's like I think Chekhov was in a lot of the second and third series because they were trying to push him as a heartthrob for the girls. But even Chekhov wasn't necessarily there all the time. He didn't have a contract. If they had some for an episode with Chekhov in mind, they'd call him, hey, can you come in for this weekend? If he could, great, he's in. But if he had another gig lined up, well, they change the line to someone else. George Takei was not in every episode. So there's a lot of times someone else was at the helm. I mean, the second season part of it was because George was off making the Green Berets with John Wayne. I'm sure that was fun, considering the polar opposite political views there. And even when Sulu was there, it's like he was a lot of it. Yeah, sir, Warp Factor 4. This was not an ensemble show. They didn't start getting really their due until the movies, and even then, not much. In a way, Final Frontier was Shatner tried to get him something. Okay, that's having Uhura do a fan dance. It was stupid, but it was giving her a moment. But they got them. They got stuff. Except for her, never got so. Her budding storylines allowed her to feel fresh and dynamic. It's not like watching Jean-Luc Picard run around as a literal golem. Stranger Worlds would be wise to continue forming ideas from older episodes of the franchise. No, it wouldn't. That's one of the big problems. They're strip mining the original show it's like, do something original for God's sakes. No, actually, no. These idiots wouldn't know what to do. Yeah, okay. Actually, Bill Nunn, I think we've exhausted this one. I think Stranger Worlds really should not have happened in the first place because it's too problematic. But something that the DVD mind meld with Shatner and Nimoy sitting in, I think it's Nimoy's backyard, just talking. Really, and a lot of even Shatner didn't know before. Find out about a lot of stuff about Leonard, but he's got Shatner's got a theory that part of what this whole thing could, up until about Star Trek V, they didn't hear any of this thing about Shatner as a monster. Shatner Stanley Monster. And they never expressed any kind of thing. They were probably irritated because you're on a set all day and people get on your nerves after a while. But his theory that it wasn't really until the conventions and little fanboys and girls going up there, oh, you were my favorite. Sulu should have been the captain. And of course, George Takei, being the egomaniac he is, yeah, I should have been the captain. Or, this show gonna about his stuff, like, and that is where a lot of they start feeling they should have been a little more part of it. They should, and back, thinking back all the times where they got a line was cut for whatever, and one of the things, you look back at what actually happened. It wasn't just Shatner. Leonard Nimoy and D. Kelly were all in a hat and swapping lines around. And the idea was to try and make the show a little better, make it flow a little faster here, and cut down on the silly stuff. We'll throw them on. We don't need that. We got because again, you got a lot of delete. I'm this Mego Star Trek channel. Lately, they're doing a lot of deleted scenes, not just outtakes, but actually scenes they shot and had to delete for time or whatever. So it's kind of an effort to let's kind of help the editors along and just cut some of this fluff to begin with. And it wasn't always, wasn't always Shatner stealing lines from somebody else. It was like, no, this should be a Spock line. And it's like, we don't, who cares? But no, just come on, we got to get this going here. We only have so much time. And the biggest crime of that is maybe a little thoughtless. These are the leads. They're there every damn day. And these guys being day players, this could be the only, glory they have for a while. Okay. And so, occasionally when, Nichelle would speak of, hey, goddamn it, Bill, that was my line. It's like, so. But a lot of times it was like, they would, oh, damn it, you did it again. And they would go on. And like any good day player, certainly of the time, they'd just be grateful they're there and getting paid. And that Walter Koenig has kept a very good level head on that. He knows, yes, it was fun, but I know any better actor could have been plugged into that seat, given the same lines, and they'd be getting just as much adoration, And it's not like it's really bad because he goes to convention. Oh, we love Checo, and he's still got to show his ID when he cashes a check at Costco. And if you recall Shatner's interview show, Raw Nerve, he did have Walter Koenig on there. George Takei never, he had an open invitation. Come on, we'll talk it out. Koenig did come on, and they did talk. And point, it was. And sometimes, it's like Shatner, goddamn it, knock it off. We should have spoken up a little bit, but again, they were not regular cast members. They were recurring cast members. Like, think about first year. Is it Sulu at the helm? Mostly. But a lot of times it's Lieutenant Hanson. It's, Mr. Leslie is running at helm today. That sort of thing. And also, when Shatner finally had enough with George trashing him, it was at I think the Vegas Con, about 2016 or so. That's on YouTube because somebody did put up the cell phone and taped it. And he had to look. I mean, okay, this man has spent 30 years trashing my name and reputation. He knows pride on knowing his lines. And here, so I don't want to do this bouncing back and forth where I'm trying to, okay.
I had to finish dealing with something, you fucker.
I let you, But when Shatner finally had enough with Takei's antics and said, look, I've always prided myself on being a professional actor. I know my lines. I know what I'm supposed to do when I get there. And Laid up. Look, I don't know George Takei. I really don't know the man. I come in. I was there 7 days a week doing this thing, learning 10 lines of dialogue a day. He's there 1 or 2 days on the for the bridge scenes. It's like, okay, hi George, and that's it. He's gone.
And to add the extra tension to my situation, my computer chair broke yesterday.
Oh, was that a component in what happened to your back, or is this?
No, that's just added stress to it. The back's been having issues for a while.
Okay.
Needless to say, it doesn't help.
No, it's an insult to injury, I think.
Well, right now, things are kind of piled here because I'm rearranging the room and doing stuff. We tracked down multiple chair options. We're dealing with figuring out and ordering one. That means I'm going to be sitting here on a fucking dining room table chair for a while. While we get the other ordered, because almost nobody in the area actually sells dining room chairs that swivel, which is what I really need. Ones that have really sturdy legs with swivel, and I don't like computer chairs. They don't work well with me.
I'm going to go to office chair.
No, office chairs, computer chairs don't work well with me. The shape is wrong, and most of them break too easy. So when you're up and down with neuromuscular issues and falling on them a lot, that doesn't work.
Okay.
But I did kind of take advantage of Slumberland while we were looking at chairs and spend a while running the demo modes on their $10,000 massager chairs, which did help. I don't care. It's like sitting back. These freaking chairs are so detailed that they have a whole computerized system. You can program everything you want. After it scans your entire body and contorts itself to your shape before it starts.
Are they from the future?
Does this not sound really pleasant? Does this not sound really pleasant, though?
I'm just seeing from The Simpsons where they Homer's doing this. Well, we can't afford that. He's going to try. Now, excuse me while I kiss the sky. I start getting recreating the scene from 2001.
But if it's scanning, and all of a sudden I felt the shape and the texture and the seating start contorting around my back and forming around me, it's like, oh dear God. I love you. I wish I could afford you.
I'm never leaving this chair.
I wish I could afford you, right?
Yeah. But yeah, it's like when Shatner's like, no, that's it. I don't know him. I really don't. You know, we were here 2 days and a couple of everything. Wasn't even there every week. Like I said, some weeks he wasn't there. Somebody else at the helm. Okay, fine, whatever. We got show to do. And then starts going on and on about what a horrible person, stealing this line, whatever. And make a big deal about uninviting me to his wedding. Why would you invite me to your wedding? I don't know you. And turn to the guy who's actually questioning. Look, you. We don't know each other. Would you invite me to your wedding? Like, no. Why would you invite me to your wedding? Well, here's your Captain Kirk. There we go. That was the whole reason. Just
Well, I still refer back. You can track it down online. There is an interview I saw years ago with George there. Yeah. He pretty much admitted to drugging and date essaying a guy.
Yeah. Yeah, the older George gets, the more it comes clear that he's not a good person.
And I can abhor what he went through as a child and still think he's a disgusting piece of shit.
Yeah.
They're not mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
It's like you literally, the same reason that everyone on the right got pissed at Milo for defending the adult men with teenage boys. George said the same shit and actually literally said he was the one doing it.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, can we just throw them both away? In fact, let's throw them in a cage together and let them have fun with each other. I mean,
I think Milo was speaking more hypothetically from.
I listened to the entire thing. No, he fucking wasn't.
It was
He said that it's a good thing to have 14-year-old boys with adult men, and said that he did it as a kid and he was the predator. He was chasing them adult men.
Well, that was him. Anyway, not going to get into that.
That's why I said no. He's a piece of shit. But that's what I was getting at. George is the same thing. And he gets a pass from so many people. Well, because he's gay. Well, I don't care if he's gay. Oh, because he was in Star Trek. I don't fucking care. He's a piece of shit. He's a fucking piece of shit.
Okay. I think he has, the only one he really had notably was really Leonard Nimoy, but that was because,
he couldn't get there. He
couldn't get there. He had a prior commitment, and it's like, and the family understood.
Yeah, because he actually did try to get there, and he contacted the family about it. The fact that was made into some sort of thing, sounding like he skipped the funeral or something, was done by freaking George, and it was bullshit. And even the family said this is bullshit.
Yeah, because the Jewish family, there's an Orthodox, it's a fairly Orthodox Jewish reverend. They understood perfectly.
I mean, if you research the background of Nimoy and Shatner, they have almost the same mix of Jewish and Arab background. They're born in the same country, and they were born a few days apart.
Yeah.
They should have connected to each other a lot more than they did in the early days, honestly.
Yeah.
Because they had so fucking much in common, it wasn't even funny.
Yeah. I think both Ukrainian, Jewish, with
a little bit of this Turkish and Arab mixed in, both of them. And it's like all of it. You start researching their background, it's like they're almost fucking twins at this point. What the fuck?
Yeah. And also the thing with in the case of the Jewish way, it's not the funeral. That's the thing. It's the meeting afterwards. And he did make it to that. It's the kind of, wake or reception, whatever they call it.
There's family funerals I haven't made it to.
Yeah.
And ones that I really felt I needed to be at. You can't, unfortunately, in life always make it to everything like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you don't care.
Yeah, and Shatner said, look, I'm across the country. People have paid very good money to a very good cause to see me, to meet me.
He was hosting a charity event. Let's not make it sound like he was skipping out to go pat his ego or something.
Yeah, no, he was,
He was raising money to help people in need. You can't call him an asshole for not wanting to screw that over.
No. Let's see, what's this one here?
No, I'm sorry. As much as I love people and as much as I support people, you don't cancel charity events. And Nimoy would not have liked that. Leonard would not have liked him canceling charity.
No, I think Leonard said, no, you people pay. No, you do your thing. But even though actually at the time they kind of a bit of falling out because I think Shatner used some.
They were good with each other at the end. They just had in and out, fall-ins and outs, but
Shatner used some footage of Nimoy that apparently Nimoy. I think you weren't allowed to use that, but also I think it's a common thing when people figure they're on the way out, to start pushing people away a bit in an attempt to try and spare them. Yeah,
but it's
I think Nimoy was doing a bit of that.
But let's be honest. And as much as I wanted him to be at that funeral and stuff, I looked into the reasons why he wasn't.
Yeah.
And how much he actually tried to get there. And I don't blame him a bit. And let's put it this way. Bob, how many times have I called out the ego in Shatner on this channel?
Oh, yeah. He wanted to be the next Laurence Olivier, okay? You don't go into acting, especially stage acting, without an ego, okay? You want to be on stage, you want to,
And I have multiple times said a lot of the problems with the original series was his ego tripping on stage. I've never given him a free pass on any of that.
No.
But in this case, I researched what was going on. I researched why he didn't make it. I researched what he did for the family after. And I'm not going to hate on him for it.
Yeah. And his daughters, and Julia said, no, Dad loved you. Okay, don't worry about that. You were fine with him. It was just... If it had lasted a few more weeks, you would have been fine. You've been hugging again, and it would have been fine.
Do some research also on other people that when they get in their last days, they either get really affectionate and start trying to make everyone they care about come see them or go see them, or they start pushing everyone away. Robin Williams was pushing everyone away those last weeks.
Yeah.
Well, he's going through all the different meds when they were trying to control his issues. They said, he'd been diagnosed with Parkinson's for almost 2 decades. They were debating whether it was just that or if it was a specialized type of dementia or was it dementia and Parkinson's or he had so many issues and they kept putting him on these meds and he was literally hallucinating and freaking out on his family all the time. And that's what they even said.
And I figured he probably wasn't all there when he actually did the deed.
And that's valid.
Yeah.
Salves, first of all, people's actual fears and actual mental issues are valid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Second of all, that's not why he missed the funeral. He even flat out tried to reach out.
No, it's like yeah, this was, Shatner's little, charity events are not small things. Okay. And this has been scheduled for a while. Again, a lot of people shelled out a lot of money for, I think it was his horse charity or something else.
And even in that situation, if you can't, and his horse charity, by the way, works with orphans and kids in need and stuff. And it's not just the animals that helps. And like I said, if you cancel charity events, the donors are not required to make the payments anymore.
And that also discourages people from donating the next time. You're just going to cancel again.
Yeah. As much as it sounds hard, if you haven't hosted a charity event, you don't know. It's fucking ridiculous how easy it is for the people to be able to take back their donations.
And especially if it's across the country, because I think he was like New York or somewhere back east. He was doing it. And
believe me, I know his records. I know what he's done. I also know this case and this situation very well because I've researched what happened. And I followed the comments of not just him, but the family and what they said they went through interacting with him during it.
Yeah.
And this was for charity. And like I said, I can't stress enough, you can't get out of charity events easily.
Yeah.
And if you do, all the money you've raised for the charity can actually be negated and sent back to the original donors. So that's not something that's an easy thing to do.
Yeah, I don't think, even if, Leonard on his deathbed, I think that, no, he shouldn't. No, he's working. Okay? He's always
and granted, I'm not paying attention to chat much. I'm glancing on occasion because I avoid this holiday like a fucking plague. And this is my trauma day. So I am mouthier than I should be. But I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm giving a genuine effort to be a nice person.
Well, I've already had someone encourage me to, deep throat a 12 gauge today. So it's okay. Well, they're going up. They're end of the year. Bang, aren't we? Yeah. No, I posted the link in the group chat. Hey, I've already reported them and blocked them. So feel free to pig pile.
See, this is the thing is this is my trauma day, but it's because I care about the things being discussed, and I do care that I came in, and I don't say the things I say to defend him because I have called him out many times on this channel.
Nobody's simping for Shatner here. Okay.
No.
Not this time.
I do give him credit. Yes, it was a glorified publicity stunt, but the fact that he actually survived going into orbit is actually amazing at the age he was when he did it.
Yeah.
I will give him that credit all the fucking way because that is extremely physically taxing, even on those who are young and healthy.
Yeah.
Wasn't John Glenn in his 90s when he went up?
He wasn't that old, but he was up there.
But
John Glenn was also in a very good. She was a Marine for guy. He kept in shape.
I am of the mind that we try to give people the benefit of the doubt, but also criticize where criticism is due. I do this for all people on all sides, whether I like them or hate them. I'm a consistent bitch. I mean,
yes, you are.
And while I will say a lot of stuff that went wrong through Star Trek and through the personal relationships with the cast was because of Shatner's ego, this whole thing with Nimoy's passing and the funeral wasn't. That said, he's still a raging egomaniac.
Yeah. But also very he'll call himself out time. So.
I will also say, full disclosure on this, he's been very friendly to me and even retweeted some of my stuff before.
There you go. So,
a little context.
But he is a leading man actor, or at least now he's gone to more comedic stuff.
Actually, I think his ego kind of took a blow when when that nurse burst in on him.
Can we not say ego and blow in the same sentence? That's just too easy.
I don't want to go into that story just now, but let's this had to do with an incident after a horse show.
I told her the story already anyway, so.
Well, not everyone catches it, so might do the story later. So, but for now, let's move on to the next one here. This one, it might, nothing from Chad. He kind of, I think he gets their idea because some of them. Let's do a Star Trek what if story. I was like, yeah, it's like. And with Marvel's What If coming to a close, because it's based on the series, the comic book series of What If, where they do a little, like What If, again, this is before the Clone Saga long, but it was What If Spider-Man's clone had survived, and they did a storyline then. And then What If, one of I liked was What If Captain America was thought out today instead of way back, and they big nightmare dystopia thing where,
I don't know.
Favorite ones I got was like I think it was What If number 34. Where it's a series of one panel gags.
I'm a fair woman, but I'm a bitch.
Yeah.
Would you guys agree with both of those assertions?
Yes.
Yeah.
Love you too, you fucking bitch.
Yeah. But they one like what if Thor spoke with a Swedish accent? So, oh Loki, you're going to get that for sure. Now, and then what if, and then same page of what if Alpha Flight talked with Bob and Doug McKenzie. Admiral sitting on the couch. Oh, good day. Hey, Dave. Yeah, we're going to talk about what if Sasquatch got his power from eating radioactive bacon. Take off, hoser. What if Iron Man had an eating problem instead of a drinking problem?
Then he really would get fat like Thor did. I mean,
yeah, I'd be like gigantic, and the boot jets are just sort of hopping along the ground. A lot of good stuff.
If they were,
I've got that issue somewhere.
Thor, with a Swedish accent, it would have been one of the Skarsgård kids playing.
But just stupid stuff like that, just little gags like that. On the cover as the Watcher said, "Please don't read this episode." We did that issue, but all right. But talking about with the last couple episodes, Fissure Quest, where they're dealing with these dimensional ruptures, open up, and old Bill Boimler getting sick to the back teeth of alternate this and alternate that, human warp. It's all variation of a theme. It's boring.
The thing is, I played with the whole alternate realities and stuff in my writing long ago, and I actually almost want to erase the books with how much people have been doing it lately. And I'm sorry, mine were written fucking well, but this shit is just like, oh god.
Yeah.
And the things I don't mind alternate universe, mirror, all that stuff. But when it's all you do, when you use it like a freaking well, they did the mirror universe well in DS9.
Yeah.
They even tied it into the events that Kirk caused when he ended up in it in the original. Which was a nice touch.
Oh yeah, that was something that Sean pointed out in citation observations. Yes, there were Klingons on the starboard bow firing on the Cerritos.
There's Klingons on the starboard bow, starboard bow, starboard bow. There's Klingons on the starboard bow, Jim.
They played that song to death on Radio 1 in England.
This is why I don't listen to the radio. They ruin songs.
Well, the thing is, I thought it had run its course and like everything, it may have made number one in the chart. But I back to the States. The song followed by, oh, we got this great song. Oh God, not again! Please, I just left that song.
Well, that sucks for you, but it doesn't make it less fun for the other Trekkies. So bite me.
But here over at the Star Trek StarCon, they go, please, enough.
Again, sucks for you. Bite me.
Yeah.
But also, I am still a nerd in every form. Also, she's got Hooters. Look up.
Yep. Focus.
She's got Hooters.
Yeah.
But not like yours.
Pretty close. Look at that. She's got none.
Yeah.
They're from the same set.
Yeah, that is one thing with anime. It's that you get all different varieties. You got some girls with nothing and some of them with like their fucking beach balls.
On some girls, it's literally like, how the hell do they walk?
Yeah, there's an Andy Grab system in there somewhere.
All right. I like that character in Devil is a Part-Timer, huh?
Pretty much. Anyway, back to the topic.
Shut up.
All right. So apparently some push. Hey, we should do this with Star Trek. What if series? Okay. That's it. So it's not smart. This is where the thing is trying to push for it. Not necessarily. So it's not smart to look into that type of storytelling. Not when your prime timeline has had so much criticism leveled at it for years. If there wasn't so much up and down quality Star Trek these days, sure, maybe there'd be room for the concept to work. But they have to start nailing quality Star Trek shows and movies consistently before we start exploring concepts beyond the prime timeline.
You would have to have the fans behind you in that, and the fans aren't behind them because it sucks. The only way we're behind them is if we're going.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. You have to know the rules before you can break the rules.
That's what my granny always taught. She was a very devout teacher, and she always taught it was okay when she said crazy shit that broke the rules of English because she was a teacher and she knew better. If you're gonna break the rules, you gotta learn what you're breaking first. Yeah,
you gotta know what you're doing. It's like, a lot of creative writing, it breaks all kinds of rules because you're not.
I have yet to ever find a novel that doesn't.
Exactly, but you're trying to weave a story here. You're not doing a dissertation,
Also, when you're writing the actual writing and literature of the and spoken word of the characters, you want the characters to seem lively, and when you make them all perfect grammatically, they don't feel like they're alive.
No. Yeah, you get the kind of like the big complaint the Star Wars cast with the script. It's like, George, you can type this, you can't read it. You can't say it like that. So they're going around. Even back then, Carrie's building up a thing as a script doctor. That's it. That's there is a non-canon way to explore these concepts in comic book form.
I'm still drinking my birthday punch. I made 4 gallons of it.
Okay, well, yeah. The Star Trek IDW run is pretty successfully, all things considered. Instead of trying to sink in hundreds of millions of dollars into a television concept that may not land with the audiences, think short treks. Do I have to? You can invest a fraction of that in new art and writing combo and launch a new comic book. This is why the comics are not supposed to count in the first place. So you can do weird shit like this. It doesn't count anyway. Go for it.
Not that I know of. I don't think they've ever directly asked the novel writers to. And to be fair, there's a lot of novel writers, and some of them I wouldn't fucking ask to write the show. What the fuck was with them when they wrote those books? I realize when I say that downstairs in my little book corner, I have about 2,000 books, comic books, and stuff that are Star Trek and Star Wars. So I have knowledge on this part. Some of those writers, I wouldn't trust for that. God, what was the name of the one that wrote Sarek? Because I would actually trust that person to write more of the scripts. Because the Sarek novel was fucking brilliant.
Was it Diane Duane?
No,
I don't remember. Fucking hell, it's been too long since I read it. It's downstairs.
I think that was Christopher Bennett.
I can look it up.
Yeah. But I'm like, you can do it in comic book form. Yeah, well, fine, do it in comic book form.
Do you have any of Dayton Ward's Star Trek novels?
Not at hand. I'm sure they're around somewhere.
A.C. Crispin.
Oh, A.C. Crispin one? Okay.
Yep. Why did you ask? I was looking something up.
All right.
Oh, I was just asking if you had any of Dayton Ward's Star Trek novels.
I'd guarantee it down there somewhere. There's only like a couple I don't have at this point. I just have to go through the heap again because it's been a while since I read them all. Hell, I've got the fucking Highlander books down there.
Okay, let's get the last one up here.
Yeah, I do. I've even got SG-1 and Stargate novels.
Okay, with Lower Decks over, what can we learn from the show's worst habit? And then talking about the reference on top of reference or anything. The Star Trek has always referenced itself. Judicious callbacks can make a vast fictional universe feel cohesive. Overdo it though, and they get annoying very quickly. Annoying.
Perfect example of tons of references, but well done is still the Trials and Tribulations episode. The blend of both, the referencing all the stuff from both eras and stuff was beautifully done in that episode.
Yeah, that's the whole point of the episode. Yeah,
I said they did it so well in that episode. The continuity was great, down to the stuff that was falling on Kirk's head, being tied to them, searching the bin, and you toss one out, and it's the one that fell on his head originally in the original series, and all that. Fucking phenomenal. One of the best continuities I've ever seen them do in Star Trek.
Yeah.
Didn't David Gerrold work on that one, honey?
He was the gray-haired security guard running around.
But I mean, didn't he write the episode or something?
He wrote the original episode, but he was on, but playing extra, as they put him in
Also,
uniform.
referencing the whole Tribbles era, we still lost a hell of a talent with William Schaller.
Yeah,
I miss him as an actor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, he wasn't playing somebody's dad though. He's like they're snarling at him.
Well, he was a freaking basically familyless borderman in the Torkelsons. So I mean,
but
it was literally a border they took in.
But okay, what? I'm trying to get the thing here. What are you distracting me with?
William Schaller was also in my favorite movie.
Well, yeah, he was Interspace. He was the manager of the store. Anyway, back to this.
No. The manager of the store was that guy from the last.
Oh no, it was that was Henry Gibson. Yeah.
Doctor.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Back to this a sec. He also made a brilliant teacher, then professor in Dobie Gillis.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of his heyday back then. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Dobie do.
Okay. Okay, Lower Decks is over with it goes a strong cast of characters, imaginative aliens, and worlds. That animation excels at rendering a whole lot of references to earlier iterations of Star Trek. While Lower Decks has a good chance of becoming a beloved chapter in the Star Trek canon, its over-reliance on callbacks clouds the show's unique identity. Well, I don't know about that. The issue here is not references themselves. Star Trek has frequently featured callbacks to past series and adventures. Doing this helps to remind us that this is all the same universe. It can also highlight the historical importance that a character like James T. Kirk holds in the world of Star Trek. The issue is when there's too much of it.
Yeah.
Again, one, you got to take
I'm not going to watch that show. I'm not going to. It's Rick and Morty meets Star Trek, and it doesn't appeal to me in any fucking way whatsoever. That said, I think that's a bullshit standard to put on it. It's not the amount of references that's the problem. It's the quality of the references. And from every Star Trek fan, hardcore Star Trek fan I know, the references were well done in that.
Yeah, they know what it goes to the thing of you have to know the rules before they can break them. McMahon and his crew knew the rules.
It doesn't mean it's something I want to watch. It doesn't mean I like the humor style or the animation style, but that doesn't mean I won't give it credit where credit is fucking due.
Let's see. Start the Next Generation. There was a general moratorium on the references to the series for the first few seasons because Roddenberry wanted the show to stand on its own. The first, so he had to be. Bob Justman had to really sell him on the idea of even having a Klingon on the show. This is proof we have made peace with the Klingons. This is a big statement right there, just him being there. Okay, then I'll allow it. But otherwise, he didn't. That's why how long it took before he saw Dr. Solar. Just to get a Vulcan.
In that time, it was not a big franchise line. It was a show and then some movies.
Yeah.
They did not have all these franchises yet. They did not have all these shoot-offs. They did not have all these spin-offs. They were trying to create that. But if you do that wrong, especially in that era, you would just become basically a cliche built on something else and nobody would care. So he was walking a fine line to make it successful to continue the legacy.
Yeah, and Roddenberry is also saying, "Hey, the old guy can still do it. Okay? If they did start going references, well, he's just dragging up the old shit. They have to cut him off at the knees."
No, that's the thing. It had to be balanced, and once you got the fans hooked, and you can show them it's not just a reference to the old stuff. Then you can bring in the old stuff with respect and honor, and you got to do it the right way. And I think that he always freaking did. Yeah, in that way. Don't get me wrong. There's plenty of shit he screwed up, and I bashed him for his wanton plagiarism and man-hoeing on set and other stuff on this channel many, many times.
But he was iffy as a writer. The occasional. I think the way Justin put it, the first couple acts of a script from Roddenberry, brilliant, best thing you ever saw. Go on, it's like okay, still okay, but by the fourth act, it's like. Okay, we can tell how far down into the bottle of whiskey he's gotten.
And don't get me wrong. Both good and bad, there are episodes in the original series that make you wonder how many drugs they were on.
Yeah.
Like the Spore Planet?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. What the hell? Right?
Well, I think, one that he had been pushing as a possible second pilot, the Omega Glory. That's how long that script was sitting around. That they finally, when they were out of other ideas, okay, fine, we'll do your damn story. That one starts off a big old thing of what the hell happened to the crew of the Exeter? They're down, reduced to rock salt. What the hell happened? It's like, and by the time of it, you got Shatner reading the preamble to the Constitution. Brilliantly, mind you. Every 4th of July, trotted out because it's a great rendition. But it's like, what the hell happened here?
But none of them are more drug-induced than Spock's brain. I'm sorry.
We're not sure of how serious Gene Coon was when he wrote that.
I don't care if he was serious or joking. It is so fucking cringy. You had to be on drugs to think it was a good idea.
Well, I think Fred Freiberger really, shows you really, the way they played it. It's like, okay, the script from this guy, so you're just going to take it? Seriously, you're just going to run with this?
Actually,
and then in fact, they debuted the third. I'm still talking here. In fact, they debuted the 3rd season with that episode, which kind of made people wonder, why did we write in to save this show again? Debut of Spock's brain kind of took a lot of the wind out of the sails of the fans. Oh, fuck. What have we done? Anyway, getting back to this here. Okay, the advantage of this approach is to callbacks is that it keeps the focus on the current characters and their predicaments. Even if Riker has some similar traits to Kirk, for instance, the two are never directly compared in universe. This makes sure we're engaged with what Riker is doing and not speculating how Kirk would do it. Also lets Riker not be like Kirk. By contrast, Beckett Mariner explicitly compares himself to Kirk on several occasions in Lower Decks. This prompts the audience to actively compare and contrast Mariner and Kirk. How are they similar? How are they different? Is this meant to be a jab at Kirk? All of this distracts from when it's happening in the show in hand and calls Mariner's character into question.
You can directly take shots at Kirk and still be brilliant, i.e. Zap Brannigan.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think usually whenever, Mariner would make a Kirk, it's usually trying to justify her own craziness. Okay. It's not really a thing.
I will still always cherish the first appearance of Zap Brannigan, and at the end of it going, we didn't manage to succeed, but in the end, I made it with a hot alien babe. And isn't that all that matters? I'm like, oh, dear God.
Mm-hmm. That's it. Another thing is that the references can just get annoying. Sprinkling in an occasional reference to a character or story can make a scene feel special and remind us that all this is one interconnected universe. Pouring multiple quotes and callbacks into every single episode is obnoxious. Lower Decks does know how to do references well. In Wejduch, T'Lyn quotes Spock from Undiscovered Country by saying logic is the beginning of wisdom, not the end. This was contextually relevant at the time, and it would make sense for Spock's insight into logic to spread amongst various Vulcans over the course of the 90s. Also, I think it was probably a Vulcan proverb. Think of it that way. Not everything has to become sprung new from the brow of Spock.
This article is kind of annoying.
Yeah. Frankly, it kind of sounds like a Vulcan proverb that Spock is just dragging up to.
I was thinking this article kind of sounds like somebody whining who doesn't quite understand all of Star Trek.
Yeah, let's see. Who did this? This Chad or this? No, Brian T. Sullivan. I can't tell much of that. This can be contrasted with Starbase 80 and another Lower Decks episode, an episode with filled references, pointing comments that he feels like a total T'Pol while covering himself in the decontamination gel. Scene was already a novice reference to Enterprise. Specifically naming T'Pol was unnecessary and makes no sense in pre-freed your shit for someone 200 years later to mention her. Well, I don't know. Again, we're talking Brad Boimler here. The man's memorized Picard's log entries, okay? I think he would have picked up a few things with the previous Enterprise, and, probably T'Pol made a reference about me being annoyed by the decontamination gel. Let's see. Given its settings, costumes, and overall story structure, there can be very little doubt that Lower Decks is a Star Trek series. It has great characters. Its premise of following a ship that deals with more mundane jobs in Starfleet is an opportunity for comedy, and they succeed at that. Why then do they have so many throwaway references? Oh. To make it abundantly clear, this is a Star Trek show written by Star Trek fans. And actually, apparently
those references are why every serious Star Trek fan I know liked it.
Yeah.
It literally would not have gone over as well without them, except for to the newer fans who don't really know Star Trek as well.
But also considering that they were under the shadow of Discovery and Picard, and they had to make sure that no, we know what we're doing. And while they couldn't say it outright, because their Kurtzman is technically the boss, we're not with them. We're the real guys. See,
we're not the kind of person that walks around licking strangers on the street because we're too stupid to know better.
Let's see.
High Price is Right.
The references won't be understood by people who haven't seen these previous shows. Yeah, it's not for them, okay? It's for us old fogies that know what they're talking about.
Not everything is about you young shits.
It's not it's not really an entry point for so much, except that maybe, hey, what's that about? Well, go back and watch. Okay.
And for the record,
it's not about you.
It encourages people to
go back. Go ahead. Wait. Let Steph say what she's going to say.
All right.
For the record, honey, I still say that Connor Tremere had a Woody.
No.
Okay, maybe that was a waste of time to go back and see what she had.
Okay.
Sorry.
The commitment requires well versed in hundreds of hours of television to fully appreciate. Well, maybe so, but it also encourages you to go back and watch those hundreds of hours. And the criticisms come from a place of love for both Lower Decks and Star Trek as a whole. So much about Lower Decks is fantastic. Could have been even better if it let itself breathe and stand on its own without always referencing what came before. They started doing that later on.
Price is Right. I'm going to agree with you. I already said I will never watch it. To me, it's Rick and Morty meets Star Trek, and it's absolutely cringy animation and humor style. But I will also acknowledge why so many Star Trek fans like it, and that it's not as crappy as the modern shit. So that's where I'm like, okay, but they did better than the rest of this group. I mean, we can give them that, right?
And that's kind of what, I think it
although I do like the original series, cartoon series.
Which Lower Decks did make a reference, made several references to, but they.
So there is that.
In fact, at one point, their own use of the term TOS. That's what what TOS. What that's what I call those old scientists.
Okay.
And Ransom has a pad, and on the pad is a scene from the original, from the animated series of Kirk and Spock. Okay.
One more question before I bow out, honey.
Or at least just shut up. Yeah.
Oh, would you shut up?
What?
Anyway.
Just don't like that. What?
Didn't Vacations first appear in the animated series?
Yeah, Lieutenant Morris.
Okay, I was asking because I remember that Cation Doctor in Lower Decks, and
yeah,
I could never remember where they actually originated from.
Oh yeah, okay. The Lower Decks has shown more love to the animated series than anything else. Okay.
And again, I still would rather ripping my teeth out than watch that animation style and that kind of jokes.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I can't respect what it did and what they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the first couple of episodes are a little extra heavy on the references, but that was at the insistence of CBS. Believe it or not.
Help us. Everybody hates this modern shit. I mean.
Yes, they wanted to. We really got to. Okay, well, they opened up Memory Alpha and went nuts. And look, see, my job is done. Okay. But let's see what we got here. Well, that's kind of where Prodigy comes.
I wouldn't want that either. I don't like the Clone Wars art style either. It's too modernistic for me.
Yeah, that's kind of where Prodigy has gone, and that's similar to their animation style.
I can give
a little more refined,
and I would give it the same respect I'm giving for the crew for what they did with Lower Decks, but that still would not be my style.
Yeah.
The well-written narrative that doesn't violate lore, I agree on. As far as I know, Lower Decks really hasn't been violating lore.
No, God, no. They've been rolling in it.
I still think a lot of the scenes and clips I've seen are absolutely disgusting humor that I think is stupid.
Yeah.
But it's not violating lore.
I think they really were, because all the complaints about Mariner, when they had her towards the end of last season, where she finally opens up why the hell she's doing what she's doing. Why is she on this kind of self-destructive path?
I'm a Trekkie.
And it finally gets where, in a way, this is really kind of the whole show is really a sequel to the Next Gen episode, Lower Decks, because where we, turns out Mariner was, friend / hero worshiping Sito back at the Academy. And when Sito died, that really was a gut punch to Mariner. Because, I don't think at that point she known anybody who died, but the word she admired as a hero got killed. And then right on the heels of that, you're thrown into the Dominion War. It's like she was PTSD'd out the wazoo. And so what was going to be a promising career, where all of her friends at the Academy said she'd figured to be a captain by now. She's still an ensign. What the hell's going on? She made a point. No, you're not putting me in that position. I am not going to command of anybody. You're not, I'm not going to.
That was the entire point of the show. Voyager was a girl boss, and again, I would have been behind it if it wasn't fucking Kate Mulgrew. But anyway, girl bosses don't have to be bad. It's when they're Mary Sue's or they think they're better than everyone that they're a problem.
Yeah.
Girl being in charge is fine as long as she actually is the kind of girl who has the balls to be in charge correctly.
Yeah. And Janeway was not a Mary Sue. She worked her way up the thing.
She was a bitch.
Yeah.
Both her and the character she played. I mean.
Yeah.
And the way she treated her co-stars on the set, she can go fuck herself. But
after the debacle of Genevieve Bujold.
I actually would rather have dealt with Janeway in a lot of ways than the crazy crap that made Kira Nerys act like a lot of episodes. And I get that it was because she was a survivor, went through this stuff. But the justifications for her behavior and the absolute arrogance to anybody who tried to help her pissed me off a lot. She irritated the shit out of me. Fucking wanted to pop her in her mouth most of the time. Anyway, I
think the assessment Rick Berman was like, Genevieve Bujold, the studio they kind of foisted her on him, and he warned, look, I'm going to tell you, this is not like shooting a movie. It's going to be backbreaking day. It's like, well, in the 2 days, I'm out. And Kate Mulgrew, she thought she'd blown the audition. She kind of half-assed it, but they brought her in. It's like, when she got on the bridge set and hands on the hips, okay, you're in command. She knows how to act like a captain.
I don't like her. I think it would have been better with the other people they were looking at. That said, I know part of why she got the job, and that was part of who pushed her to go up for the audition. I don't fucking understand why he's friends with her, but she auditioned and went up for the role because she was pushed into doing it by John Delancey.
Well, apparently they have very, very good dinner parties.
I guess he likes bitches. I mean,
I don't know. Social setting, apparently she's pretty good. And in her case, I didn't mind when she got, because she's always been very outspoken politically. So, okay, no surprise in that case. But she also made a point of that this is my opinion. I'm not calling you an idiot because you don't agree.
The political shit is not what pisses me off. It's the fact that she was literally abusive to people on set because she didn't like how them and their characters were.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not okay.
Yeah, she kind of terrorized Jerry Ryan there for a while.
And don't get me wrong, she's a fucking bitch. She deserves it now, but that doesn't make it okay that she did it on set like that.
No.
Oh, and
there was a lot of
the moment she posted, if you support gun rights, block me. I told her to fuck herself, then I blocked her. Compliance, fuck you.
Yeah.
Anyway.
If I recall, she ended up stealing Rick Colby from his wife.
Well, again, considering 2 to tango, there's problems there probably to begin with.
Look at the modern stuff. That's what they did wrong when they did the stupid animated Grinches. You had fucking Cumberbatch, and then they had him talk with a bland voice and American accent.
Mm-hmm.
What the fucking point? His deep, creepy voice would have been perfect for the Grinch, first of all. Mm-hmm. Why not have him speaking his fucking normal voice? First of all. Second of all, they completely flipped the characters so that Cindy Lou was this rowdy, unctuous kid, and the dad was completely gone. And the mom was the one that was so there for everybody. It's like, okay, it was a family with a mother and father in the original. When they expanded the story, the dad was willing to fucking sacrifice himself to save his child. And you completely write him out? Fuck you.
Yeah. I haven't bought anything since, the original one.
No,
I hadn't even heard of that second one until you showed it to me.
The movie remake they did with Carrie was actually really good. And actually really portrayed the father as noble and loving and willing to fight for his daughter. Plus, the scene where Carrie is mimicking Ron Howard's director tantrums is really fucking great. It literally wasn't even scripted. They had the camera still rolling for something else they were testing. Yeah. And he reaches over and grabs Ron Howard's fucking hat, puts it on his head, and starts going, okay, here's your motivation at max. You're a great nobody likes you. And that's the whole thing. No, wait, that's too commercial. You reject your own. I start doing this stuff, and all of a sudden Max just looks up at him and goes, kicks the nose off. And he goes, that's it! Brilliant! You reject your own nose because of this commercialism! Brilliant! Got it!
Oh, God.
Literally, they said during the filming of that, Ron Howard was literally rolling in his seat, trying to die laughing. And then they put it in the movie. Like, okay, that's it.
There's probably a little coping involved with it because Jim Carrey was. I don't know if he had claustrophobia before, but he definitely had it in All They Get It because between the contact and the total makeup, he was totally encased.
Well, there was a scene in it where he was. They were having the Grinch eating glass and stuff, just like they were joking about him eating the hazardous waste from Whoville and stuff.
Yeah.
And literally the candy glass that they made for that, Carrie was going so over the top with it that they ended up shredding part of the top of his mouth doing it.
Oops. Yeah, you do have to chew. You have
to chew carefully because candy glass still has a very jagged complexion.
Yeah.
That's the fake. And yeah, he cut his mouth up really good on that. They actually had to wait a few days to film the next scene.
Yeah.
So it's like, but I will say I like that remake. I have since they made it.
Yeah.
But you didn't even know about Grinch Night, which I still like Grinch Night more than the Christmas one, but that's not because again, it would be nicer if they had the same narration and all that stuff. But Grinch Night was one of his original novels, and I can see why they didn't make them together because there are definite canon issues between them. But I like the Grinch and the Halloween one better.
Well, also Boris Karloff was dead by then, so you couldn't do it.
I know. So there's the sides and stuff like that, but I like that version of Grinch better, the more twisted gothic. And it's like I just can't understand because of continuity, because I wanted to understand what they did with it. I want to understand what happened with it. I knew they did the animated. I decided to see what they did to it. And yeah, they went all girl boss. They cut the heroic dad completely out of the story. The Grinch was too much of a pussy to be the Grinch. I'm sorry. And how the fuck you have Cumberbatch and you do such a weak-willed, spineless voice? It's just absolutely a waste of talent.
I'm sure Cumberbatch can probably do a pretty good Boris Karloff. Okay.
Well, he was playing the Grinch.
Yeah.
He could have fucking done that part.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, let's look at all the issues with Hobbit aside. Cumberbatch voicing Smaug was the best part of that fucking set.
Yeah.
Smaug was beautiful with Cumberbatch.
Oh, yeah.
He could have been an amazing Grinch with the Smaug voice, couldn't he?
Well, again, I think Cumberbatch can do a lot. He can. Is Alan? Not Alan Cumming. Alan Rickman. He's got Alan Rickman down here, Mr. Potter.
There was I can't remember
so he could definitely do a Karloff.
There was this tribute we saw on this improv show from England a while back, where they had a whole bunch of these Shakespearean actors trying to do the Hamlet scene off each other and prove they were better at it.
Oh God!
And they had Cumberbatch doing a version, Patrick Stewart doing a version, Ian McKellen doing a version, all this. And they kept going from one to the other, going, "No, that's not how you play Hamlet. This is how you do it." And then doing the scene, and it was fucking all these different versions, and they were brilliant. But it was also the humor in between, and then making jokes at each other, and then doing it themselves. It's like, oh God, I wish I remember.
I'm sure they've all done Hamlet on stage.
They have,
yeah. Through various stages of career.
So they brought in all these Shakespearean actors who played Hamlet, and they basically had them try to improv off each other Hamlet's scenes on set while insulting each other.
And the three of them are all goofballs anyway.
There was a couple other actors too, but I can't remember who they were right now. It was phenomenal. I wish I could remember what it was so I could look it up. It was great.
Speaking of Hamlet, I would appreciate it if you would go through the DVDs we have out there and see if we have that one with David Tennant in it.
What, his Hamlet?
Yeah.
I don't know if we ever actually got. I know I checked out from the library one time. And by the way, we have a little moratorium about any references to holidays right now because of issues. I won't go into them.
I'll just not read chat. You can respond to it.
Appreciate it, but we're not going to call attention to it. Sorry.
But anyway, if I recall, we did end up getting that one because I was looking for it online and I could only find the RSC version, which was Region 2.
Okay, well it could be, but I know there was a series of I forget the overall thing, but I know they had Tennant about Shakespeare, Hamlet, and I think he talks with Jude Law.
I will
and
say
talking about doing and that speech.
And by the way, referencing doing stuff about Shakespeare, Reeves doing the Brush Up with Shakespeare song on Muppet Show was fucking brilliant.
Oh, and another one we need
one line from Othello, and she'll think you one heck of a fellow. Brush up your Shakespeare, and the women you will wow.
Okay.
I had to finish my point.
Yes. Now, get to it, or what?
Anyway, like I was trying to say, another one I want to get out is, well, as much as we, don't exactly like the guy right now, Joss Whedon's version of Much Ado About Nothing.
That was something. I think it was actually during a strike. During a
Oh, and by the way, Steph, you don't have to draw attention to as you were trying to say. As you were trying to interrupt the point I was making to say repeatedly, because I was still on my sentence from before that.
No, I think there was either some kind of strike going on or something. But yeah, it was just something he just filmed in his backyard, calling all his actor friends.
Including Nathan.
Yeah, Nathan played the local constable that came in, but yeah. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier, the Mego Star Trek, because they were doing little stop motion Star Trek scenes, but they've now digging up all kinds of deleted stuff. I think most of it's from the Roddenberry Vault Blu-ray because the caption stuff, but yeah, a lot of stuff on there.
Fuck off.
Alternate takes, deleted stuff, yeah.
How are the fur balls?
Well, let's see. I had to run and deal with the fact that my chair broke. I came back from the store. I opened the door, and as I opened the door, I heard Panther's meow, followed by a black bolt coming out of the tree just under the topper and flying the other way and running down the hall.
Panther?
He climbed the tree.
I've caught him doing it several times. In fact, I have a set of gnome ornaments I got from Lydian, and they're up by the top of the tree, and I've caught him inside the tree attacking them from behind multiple times.
Yeah, I saw the thing about regarding Lieutenant Palamas being pregnant with Apollo's baby. But I think besides a time issue, there's also I think at that time you couldn't even say the word pregnant on network TV.
Oh boy.
All kinds of flack from Senator Braxton.
Well, I mean, there wasn't that rule, because if you pay attention to most of the Lucy shows that she did, she flaunted those rules all the time. There were several episodes she shared the bed with him. There was a lot of talk of her pregnancy through it. There was all kinds of stuff, but they weren't supposed to be then.
Yeah.
And I know she actually got in trouble on several of those episodes for things she pushed.
Yeah. But she was Lucy, and she was bringing in the big bucks, so they had to get away with it for the most part.
But you really couldn't take the fucking fine so she could push what she wanted to push anyways, because she didn't care. I mean, let's be honest. Lucy's going to do what Lucy's going to do.
A lot of back then was that you're expecting, or you're with child, or but when she's out to there, it's obvious, But just saying the word pregnant was kind of verboten for the most part.
Well, so was actually showing the pregnancy much. Even most of the shows, even when they referenced it, they showed the little comical, the guy not knowing what to do about it, but also it was references of that, she's expecting, and then all of a sudden there were no episodes, or she disappeared for a while and she came back with the baby. And they didn't really show you any of it, and that was not the truth. That was not the truth with Lucy.
Carrying a strategically placed handbag that got bigger and bigger. Or the couch starts getting higher,
the shit that they did in The Nanny to hide that the actor, that Laura who played Cece was pregnant, was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Because during the middle of it, they do an episode where she starts complaining about watching these old shows and seeing how they were hiding Mary's pregnant belly in this old show. And the prompts were so ridiculous. It was so obvious what they were doing. And also she turns out she's got this fucking satchel sticking out like almost 2 feet in front of her. And walks out my God. It's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh my God, you just reminded me of something.
And by the way, yes, I also have the entire series of The Nanny too.
During the run of Next Gen, a certain redheaded asshole was pregnant, and
I know.
Great lengths to hide her.
Well, they already had Crusher wearing that lab coat all the time, so they already had it built in. But then when Roxanne Dawson got pregnant during Voyager's run, then suddenly B'Elanna's wearing a jacket. Same sort of thing.
Yeah, but with Gates McFadden, they had to hide her behind, like the.
Well, no, it was a lot of, you're sitting at her desk a lot, or a lot of,
Well, look at what happened with Lexa Doig and Andromeda, because she was going through multiple pregnancies, because her and Shanks were breeding like bunnies until she had the miscarriage that made her go infertile.
Like that's it.
They were breeding like bunnies. They had a few kids in that first few years of the marriage.
And
that was right during the show. And during the time when she was in those last pregnancies and before the miscarriage, they were hiding her any way they could freaking hide her. And at one point, there was no droid for her, and all it was a head. And then she was gone for a while. They lost her from the system and were trying to restore her and rebuild her. So then they had the other robot to fill her place that he built as a temporary while they restored her. And they did so fucking much to cover up that she was just breeding like a rabbit, honestly.
The Savick being pregnant. I'm glad they did cut that. I think that was Nimoy really at the beginning. No, let's just cut this. Don't shoot it.
If I recall, Nana Visitor was pregnant with Sid's kid while they were on the show together.
Well, yeah, and that's why they had to eventually. Well, there's no way to hide it in that outfit. I mean, we're getting tired of just give her a jacket. No, and they came up with a pretty clever story. Okay, yeah, actually, Keiko was pregnant, but they had to do something with the transporter, and so now Kira is going to be carrying the child.
Which led to the episode that pissed me off the most about Kira.
Yeah.
Where the guy that was scarred from her terrorist attack kidnapped her and tried to free the child from her. And her defending what she did, saying there was no such thing as an innocent victim, whether they were there or their own volition or not. I was like, excuse you! Finding out that he was an innocent tailor who was basically forced to live there and work there again as a slave of the system, just like her. And she said, he was an innocent victim anyways. They were all invaders. He deserved it. I was like, the fuck, bitch? One of the worst written episodes, I swear. I fucking hated her after that episode so much.
Yeah. No, but I think they completely misplayed Pon farr in Star Trek 3 anyway. And so any reference to her being pregnant by Spock through that thing is like, no, this is not the way it works, Leonard. Pon farr is not Vulcan puberty.
Yeah.
I mean, generally, the way it's supposed to.
When you have to have.
Well, that's when the time of when you're finally going to take a mate, and but it's not puberty, okay?
Now, I think it.
And it has to be.
They could have worked it more into the puberty as the first time you go through it better than they did, but it wasn't needed. Period. But the way they did not make a lot of sense, and you could have made it make sense if you really wanted to go that route.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I love those. I love the Star Trek movies, all that, but that was a big miss point.
Yeah, and it's like. And it's like, it was pretty clear in Amok Time that this was the first time Spock had been gone through this. In fact, he was hoping that, his half-human, thing would let him skip it.
Which they could have referenced that and still said this happens usually more closer to puberty and becoming of age, which it would have made sense because that's when most people's bodies try to go into looking for a mate and trying to reproduce.
Yeah.
However, they did not do a good job tying those together.
No.
It was very awkward and very uncomfortable. And that's the problem I have. Not the referencing it as occurring in puberty. I think it absolutely makes sense for that to be possible. It's just the way that they did it didn't work.
Yeah. No, the key component in Pon farr, though, is having the psychic bond with the mate. It was, Spock and T'Pring, and there was no T'Pring involved in this case. So there was just Spock and his own side. There should have been no Pon farr to trigger in the first place.
That said,
that's the thing,
Like I said, I think it could have been well done, written to go, no, it's not actually uncommon for Vulcans to go through this as puberty because puberty is part of wanting to take a mate and reproduce.
Yeah.
Could have been done so much better than it was.
Yeah. Probably better just skip the whole damn thing. I think just not even go there.
Yeah, it's probably better just to skip it. But I'm saying if they really wanted to take that route, they could have done it much better.
And as far as what was shown in the movie, again, put aside what was scripted, what may or may not have been shot and cut. Is like what we saw in the movie. We saw Saavik calm Spock down. He was definitely going to rage. Now, maybe what is maybe she's establishing that psychic link now, where now she is now the betrothed, which will be acted upon later. And then at that point, we got that reunification thing where we see Saavik and her kid, and the son she had with Spock, and the reference in the novels where they eventually get married. But there's enough plausible deniability in the fact that it's not on the screen, it's not on the scene. No.
Okay. I think on this note, I'm gonna sign off and
collapse.
Get some sleep.
Okay, dokie.
Because I am seriously thinking about ordering out tonight. Just
all right.
You don't want to cook.
That's fine.
But keep in mind, if I do, it's probably going to be Domino's. And
that's fine.
Shut up.
Go sleep.
Okay, I love you.
All righty, bye.
Bye.
All right.
Yay, silence.
Hello. You heard that. But because also and pulling straight just from Amok Time, and Dorothy Fontana was the authority to go to, and then all things Vulcan. She kind of had to handhold Ted Sturgeon to a lot of that, but but notice once the bond was broken by her having him kill Kirk, he's back to himself. He has no interest in T'Pring whatsoever. So it also kind of puts a lot in any of these later fanfic stories where Spock's going through Pon farr and only Ensign Mary Sue can help him through it. It's like, no, didn't happen. Okay. Once you break the bond there, then you break the cycle. If you are bonded to a mate, then then the Pon farr cycle is in full swing. And every while Vulcans are perfectly capable of mating anytime they damn well want to, once every 7 years they kind of have to. Okay, then when it's like,
I'm not gonna say I was fond of how they handled Pon farr in every Star Trek show.
No, they everyone's gotten it wrong.
I didn't like the referencing it in Voyager either.
That was a total clusterfuck.
Yeah. And
you can blame that on probably that one Vulcan tried to get with Milana. You didn't pay attention in biology, did you? Okay. But yeah, his thing, because his mate is back on Vulcan waiting for him, and he's clearing the Delta Quadrant. So yeah, he's going a little nuts. So you can make a lot of allowances there, but. I mean,
I thought I was sex crazed. Actually, I think half the time I'm kind of Vulcan, but it doesn't only come every 7 years. No. Anyway,
that's like every 7 minutes.
I don't like the modern 3D animation style at all. I can't actually stand it. I don't know what it is about it. I think because I am really visually acute into the shapes, the images, and like my nature photography, I'm very used to how things move in reality and stuff like that. I have never found a 3D animation or this modern like rendering animation where it's supposed to look more humanistic, where it looks right to me. None of them.
One of the things they did in that last Lower Decks thing is, where they're going through these Schrodinger fields, is, born they coined it. I think, hey, that's a good name.
So this is where people figure out how picky I really am.
Yeah. Where they see that Cerritos changing form every 5 minutes. It goes from a freedom class. How do you go to warp with one nacelle? Well, actually, shut up now. It goes to Oberth, a Miranda class. For a brief time, it was a Mirror Universe, California class. But the weapons go offline, and Shaxs go, oh! It turns into a Sovereign class at one point. With the same nacelles, though, as a California class.
It's like, I am so picky. Everything's got to be perfect around me.
At one point, it turns into a Galaxy class for a minute. And then,
I bet I could drive you insane. Stupidly picky. No, intelligently picky. Get that shit straight.
Yeah.
I use intelligence in why I'm picky.
Yeah. Now it's kind of a turn to a Sovereign class, and Captain Freeman, not a fan of the Sovereign. Oh, well, let's just go.
Eat a dick, eat a dick.
Realistically, knowing me, I would probably belong on a California class. I am past anything of being in a frontline ship. No, I'm fine back here, second contact.
Sorry, I'd be in Defiant class all day long. I want a war.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, did I say that?
Yeah, I still gotta get a 1,000 skill. Defiant.
I would totally go Defiant class in a fucking heartbeat.
Yeah. But yeah,
I'd be blowing shit up left, right, and center. Fucking kidding me. I mean,
I think one of the reasons I took the Lower Decks myself is because I've had ideas about a Star Trek sitcom type thing. Where we've seen the best ship let's see the worst ship for a change, okay? And that's what I get. My idea about the USS Eldridge, where it was an old Constitution class, a dock queen, where they had never really got into service because it kept having problems. And then got mocked. They would use it as a test bed for different systems. Like, they tried the M6 computer. It turns out it was a total neurotic mess. But, they made sure not to give it control over anything other than the coffee machine on one rec room on deck 4. Don't go in there. It's a horror show. Otherwise, it's on a standard Duotronic computers with they would test different shield systems on it, which means people are shooting at this ship on a regular basis, which made the computer even crazier. Oh my God, we're dying.
Let's be honest. Also, if we had holodeck programs, nobody would do anything but go in there and have sex.
Yeah. That's one thing Lower Decks made a point of. They really do that? Oh, yeah.
There was referencing to bootleg sex programs that Quark was selling.
Oh, yeah, of course, Quarks. Holosuites. Yeah.
And the whole, what was that Barkley episode where it comes in and Deanna's all sexual going, I embrace you in the holodeck?
Yeah. Deanna's horrified, but suddenly, Riker and oh no, we should study this.
Well, he had Riker painted as this fool
dwarf.
Who could smack around dwarf.
Yeah.
He's going, this is offensive. This should not be allowed. We don't want to stifle his imagination. It leads to his healing from her.
And then run around the goddess of empathy.
Now she's pissed.
What? Oh no, we shouldn't stifle his creativity. It's a get stuff. When they finally find him, he's sleeping, and
that's fair. Price is right. I'm still a Defiant Glass girl. I like things to be in your face and rude as fuck, which I'm sure everybody here is shocked about, right, fuckers?
Like I said, and then sometime in the coming months, I'll be getting me a Cerritos model. So. Things about the size of an ambassador class. So that thumbnail I put up, that's actually pretty close, size wise.
So this is generally how I am.
No, in fact, I tweeted at Mike McMahon, so I got dibs on the USS Victorville.
I am very much a Trekkie. I think it's very clear as we discuss things, isn't it?
Yeah. The fact that we're doing this, live stream in the first place.
But you love doing these live streams with me.
Yes, I think it's turned into a daily thing now. So this might just keep this title.
You absolutely love doing Trek streams with me.
Yes. It beats the hell out of just talking to myself all the damn time, too.
And it's nice to find somebody else who's as big of a Trek nerd as you are.
Yeah.
It's always nice to have other Trek nerds to share in the nerdiness with.
Yes, that's, Think back to the old days of the old Star Trek Well Committee in the 70s. It was all by mail. You're trying to find other fans, because usually these poor schmucks back in the days, it's like you're the only one in town who has even heard of this show half the time.
I mean, literally, I was the one who was brawling with other kids and getting into physical fights when I was 2 and was out hunting and trapping and fishing and all that. Between the ages of 4 and 6, I was learning to do all that. So, I mean, I am rowdy, rough, in your face. That's just who I am. And you all fucking love me that way, and you'll always love me that way.
I think if I can't get a hold of Ron Moore, we'll ask you about Klingon stuff, okay? Actually, there was one thing.
Thank you, Ray.
We're a friend back in New York who has since died of cancer, sadly, but I was doing something for his birthday. I think it was something involving Klingons. And I wanted it, something as a certificate and signed by Martok and son of, and I emailed Ron Moore, back during the old AOL message board days. So I had that level of communication with him. What is the name of Martok's father? And he got back to me and said, we never actually established that, because there one episode talked about, relationship with his father, and he said he only wish he had lived long enough to see him take command of a ship. But it's like, okay, well, for now, and he gave me the name. I forget the name. I don't know if I could find the email. But I managed to get a name from Martok's father out of Ron Moore. So, yay me. I should have made a better friend. That was like 3 or 4 computers ago. So, yeah. And unfortunately, Paulie has died, so I can't just call me, hey, can you take that certificate? I hope Ron wrote it down somewhere. You might come up.
I know.
Oh yeah, that is, again, that's why I say Discovery burned the bridge with the first 5 minutes of that.
That, by the way, is one place where I will say that there was some racist stereotyping involved in portrayal of anything, because Disney is behind a lot of the viewpoint that orcs are a racist portrayal, and Klingons were a combination of a few different cultures, from black to part of the Middle East to a lot of native.
And thank you, Zosborg. Always appreciate it.
Yeah. Those are always welcome on my channel too, if you ever go sub over there.
Are you not simulcasting?
No, it's hard to do on mine because I'm co-host, remember?
Okay.
So I only do it when I'm really willing to spend the time to add me to the full top, and when I'm just jumping in to give you shit, that's kind of not worth it.
All right. No, there's nothing. They kind of burned the bridge when they made it clear before the sharing. Oh, these will be representing Trump supporters. Oh, really? Way to go tell you half your audience to go fuck themselves. You're really going to build a fan base that way, assholes. Yeah.
It's like, look, I've been very clear. I hate both sides. I can't stand him, but that shit does not help.
No.
That's not a way to win people over. That's not a way to appeal to people. It's just not a way to run a channel at all.
It kind of goes back to the thing. You got to know the rules before you can break the rules. Yes, everyone on Star Trek had an opinion. It was generally to the left, but they did not choose sides. Obviously.
Just to reference to the people that are in the chat, my channel is over here. I have technically a second channel. I have not posted the videos for it I'm making yet because of the stuff going on with my computer and trying to make the cameras work lately. I'm getting there and should have the videos up soon. Yeah, and that's why I'm doing the second channel for that, is because I don't want to post stuff that really doesn't work with my current channel.
Yeah. It wasn't it was the producers themselves that said this. And publicity for the premiere of the show before it came. Oh, these were representing our Trump supporters. The show hasn't even aired yet, and he just pissed off half the audience. Okay.
But the second channel will be posting all kinds of videos, crazy social commentary and stuff soon, and that's it. So those are my channels, one of which is very active and one of which will be very active soon. I have the stuff almost ready to start posting.
That's the one that's up there, and this is the more fun, playful one. Yeah.
As you can kind of tell by the fact the avatar for that one is a picture of Ornery hugging the gnome toy. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Pussy, pussy, pussy. I mean.
But I think the big example though of how they played it back then is the line is like, Star Trek wanted you to think, they didn't tell you how to think. A Private Little War. This is 1968, the height of the Vietnam War, and the closest you're going to find to a direct reference to it, where Kirk and McCoy are trying to explain why he's wanting to arm the Hill people against the villagers. And McCoy is saying, "Are you insane? You can't. The solution is not arm these people." And Kirk, remember, the brush wars in the mid 20th century. Two powers just like the Klingons and us. Neither one could pull out. And you basically have Kirk arguing in favor of the U.S. continued involvement in Vietnam. We can't just pull out, we can't just give the South Vietnamese nukes. Neither side's we got to just stay in there and play this stupid balance of power game, because it's the only one that allows both sides to survive and possibly work out something without killing the other.
Send me the link. I'll see if I have the channel or not, because I forget which ones I have.
I watch Cullen's all the time. And I've commented on stuff you're doing.
I'm pretty sure I know who it is, but I'm not in that state where I'm very thoughtful. So
yeah, it's an Irish guy.
Send me the link and I'll verify if it's in the ones I have.
Yeah, no, I've retweeted his stuff a lot. Reposted them.
That doesn't mean anything. You repost a lot of shit I don't pay attention to. I mean,
yeah. But his last one was talking about the issue of, did Lower Decks decanonize Discovery? And it's as much fun as it might be, that no, it's a sight gag, and it's and probably not much thought beyond that, but just giving a quick little visual nod here. There probably wasn't anything deeper than that. But I promise, the alternate universe that card has been dealt. You can't walk it back. And fans are latching onto it and saying, no, we can finally get rid of this thing. I mean, it's canon in the sense that alternate timelines are canon, and Discovery is one of them. But it is now safely booted to the side. We can ignore it now.
I didn't need permission to ignore it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. I mean, there's other people saying, like Doomcock is saying that, no, this came from Paramount. They just said, please, rid us of this troublesome show. And again, as big as a hardcore fan as Mike McMahon is, it had to have been bugging him about what they were doing over on Discovery. The fact that they never referenced it at any point during the run of it. When they did come into that time period, it was never showing their stuff. Nothing lined up with them, but everything lined up with established.
The link is not up. That's why I said to message it to me.
Yeah, unless you got moderator privileges, you can't post anything.
120 and change. I will get a payout here very soon. Which will go very quickly into my projects and disappear.
What is my AdSense doing right now? Okay, let's...
Masturbation.
Let's show you mine's. No, it's just... Well, I thought it was for sitting there playing with this stuff, but here's what I'm sitting at right now. Only because the last bunch of stuff hasn't been total in yet.
I'm trying to figure out why they're not referencing my last payout. It wasn't that long ago. It's like, we haven't paid you. It's like, yes, you have. You paid me quite a bit on that one. Come on. Keep up, bitches. I want more.
The glories of... come on, damn it. Where's the damn history here?
Eat a dick, eat a dick, eat a dick, 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 dick in your mouth.
Where's the history thing? Come on. Nope, we're not doing that. Well, anyway, if I tell history, like it's been a while since I got paid. Okay, so that getting monetized is great, but then the real work begins. Try and get it where it'll pay out on a regular basis.
Got to work that grind, and
that's why
usually I'm good at grinding, but I mean, anyway,
that's why I'm getting to this right now. I'm doing this every damn day. Like it's it is an action. This is a job. Okay, it is work.
I'm going to either avoid the next few weeks or make you screen everything that's said to me for a while.
What's this?
Because I don't like this time of year.
Yeah. Well, that's why I posted that one GIF of the dogs in the swimming pool. Okay, it's summer.
Tonight is going to be fun. It's my trauma night, and then they'll be setting off fireworks everywhere, which will set off the other trauma. But at least I'm supposed to have a gnome's company tonight. We're going to watch inappropriate, rude stuff and make jokes.
A lot of Jimmy Carr, I guess.
Yeah. And I've got a couple of pretty crude movies where you get to watch George Clooney suffer like hell. That's always good for a laugh. Fuck him.
There is some fun stuff when I think it's the movie Monuments Men, but where at the very end he's got his dad playing his character but older, and they showed a rough cut of it to him, but they stuck in a thing in loving memory. Because like, what the hell? Look, we don't know what this could be a while before they end, and it's easier to take it out than try to put it in. So it's like just really yanking his chain.
Movie Intolerable Cruelty. Literally, the whole movie is him being schmucked with and toyed with by a praying gold digger destroying his life. It's a fucking hilarious one. It's great. I mean,
Clooney is not afraid of making himself look like an idiot on film.
He's not afraid to make himself look like an idiot in person, apparently, either. No, I'm saying because he's such an egomaniac douchebag.
Yeah.
He says stupid shit to try and make himself seem better than he is. It makes him look like a complete utter waste of fucking flesh. Which is why it's fun to watch him suffer.
Yeah. But yeah, I think
I'm starting to hit that point where I'm starting to wonder if people are going to be sitting in the chat going, "Do you like anybody?"
No.
No, fuck off. I mean, fuck you. I'm not sorry.
I think I'm finally getting to the point I'm going to finally finish this fucking thing.
Shut up, dick eater. Yeah, that's the new one that's been happening the last couple of days. I keep calling people dick eaters.
Well, let's put that on the card list.
Swallow, bitch. I mean, that one was me saying it, but swallow, ho. I mean,
put that up.
Da 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 da.
Get this thing to load. Well, yeah, before I decide to attack that model, I really
I love Trek. I love sci-fi. I love fantasy. But I am hardcore, and if they don't do it right, I fucking hate them.
Oh, I was the grumpy fan complaining about what they did to the Enterprise for motion picture. Okay. And that's why you have that 5-minute flyby scene going around and around in the travel pod. That's to sell old farts like, and I was only 12 when that movie, or no, about 14, 15, that movie came out. So
it's like, look, watch the ship porn. Be mesmerized by the ship porn. Get hard-ons by the ship porn. You love the ship porn.
Ooh, update reports.
Now, if I say porn a few more times, porn, porny porn.
Yep, gun banned. Or at least.
What'd you say?
The one that asked if if something doesn't happen, if I'm going to deep throat a 12 gauge.
Wow. Did you actually get screenshots of it first?
I posted the link in the group chat.
Always screenshot when people say stupid shit like that. Have the evidence. It no matter what happens, whether they retract it or get banned or not. Learn.
Well, they did. They did ban. They did.
Always save the evidence because those kinds of bosses will respin.
Well, I will do that now because it's still up. Whoop! Hold on. Pull that back up. Now, I'm pretty sure this is one of the sock puppet accounts of another idiot dealing with him. Because this fits the MO. It's like just 50 different sock puppets all following each other, acting like a big group, and it's only one person.
One of those couple idiots that's been harassing both of us for like 2 years.
Exactly, especially the one spinning all the tales about let's see, you're either my wife, my sister, my daughter, my something or other, and like we're.
The creepiest one was when they tried to claim I was your mistress.
Yeah.
Especially since they did that right after they tried to claim I was your sister.
None
of which is believable.
Yeah.
None. Ew, he's old. I don't do old dick.
I'm almost as old as your dad. Okay.
Yeah. I miss Dad.
Okay, there we go. And save that. I even got the folder for it too.
Even if I wasn't a very devout, happily married woman, I don't do old dick. I'm not a gold digger. I mean, I was less offended at the people who tried to make up rumors about affairs involving me and Anthony. At least he's in my age group. And he's a bad boy musician. That always was the kind of trouble I was always trying to get myself into. So I could at least live with that. It made sense, you know? It was still hilarious, but at least it made sense.
We'll title this one Death Wish. There we go.
I have quite a database of all the crazy, because there's things that happened years ago that now people want the evidence of that I never thought were going to need attention again.
I'll leave that out.
I was like, I don't have that shit anymore. I forgot they existed once I closed it.
Yeah.
Well, shit, now I need it because of things that happened, or those people have turned up harassing other people I know or stuff. So I've learned the hard way. Always save it. You know, like Mr. Peggy trying to convince me to work on his comic and then try to convince everybody he didn't know who I was. Would have been a lot better if I'd saved that conversation instead of deleting it, right?
Yeah. But yeah, here's the notification. Yes, we've locked Idiot's account for breaking our violent threats rule. We found they broke our violent threats rule through different reports received by their behavior. So yeah, it wasn't just me. Someone, other people jumped on too. They can't post, repost, or live content, and we'll ask them to remove the reported content if they want to regain full access to their account. Your safety is important to us. If they break our rules again, we'll respond with a more severe action like suspension. We appreciate you taking the time to submit a report and helping keep X safe for everyone.
That should have been a suspension instantly. It should never have been
something like that.
Block. You don't say that shit.
No.
Now, I mean, I ticked telling somebody to put their lips on a gun and blow the other day. That's a tick. That's not the same thing. I didn't type it out and say it to somebody. And like, there's a significant difference in that, you know?
I think they posted the thing twice, so I reported it both times. So, really?
The desperation from some of these people is just like cosmically comical.
Yeah.
All right, so eat a dick.
And again, to the person this one is simping for, is these the people you want to be associated with? Really? Think. You're almost 30, you dumb cow. It's time to start being a little more.
Bear in mind that these people literally posted racial slurs about me, lying about my race and culture, and encouraging people to try to stalk and essay me.
And a lot of accusations of stolen valor. Again, and repeatedly putting up pictures of this is my VA card. There's here's my 214. It's like, you really want to go down this route, Sparky?
I don't understand that using that against them anyways. It's not like veterans are automatically exempt of having assholes in their midst even. So why would you use that as a way to try to win an argument or disprove somebody? And like, this is the weirdest shit. Why would you make up this shit about people?
Well, we're dealing with morons who think Twitter is actually the real world. That's why it's like, you trying to scare me? Really? I have actually been outside once in a while. I have dealt with the real world.
I hate the real world.
Yeah.
It's a bitch.
Yeah.
So are the people in it.
But not unfamiliar with it. Have dealt with it. Got the medical records to prove it.
There's times I wish I was unfamiliar with it.
Yeah. But it's like, oh no, someone on Twitter said something nasty to me.
Whatever will I do? He's so obsessed with me. I'm so scared of him in person. That's why I have a machete in my car. I mean, I always laugh at these people who go, well, if you're carrying weapons, it means you're afraid. It's like, no, it doesn't. It means you're prepared.
Yeah.
Because crazy assholes will do whatever crazy assholes want to do.
It's also like, no, I'm not afraid because I do have weapons. They better be afraid.
Well, can't you do it on your own? It's like, that isn't the most ableist comment in the world. Just fight on your own. Who cares if you're healthy or disabled or what, right?
Yeah, see that Russian machine gun nest? Charge it with his pointy stick.
I have to.
Well, technically, you got a YouTube account. You got it. That is social media. This is,
But it's also if you're trying to do these kinds of jobs where you have to work for yourself or stuff, it's a requirement now. It's the only way to promote yourself. And I'm a photographer. I can't work normal jobs. I have to do this, or I can't work. So it is what it is to me. This is survival.
And this is lower rungs of show business. So.
And let's be fucking honest. Do you think I could hold a job well with my tics?
Not a normal one. Yeah.
Do you think it would go well if I'm working in a store helping a customer and suddenly I tell them to fuck off and suck penis juice?
No. Maybe Hot Topic, but maybe.
No. Not even. No. But the worst employment rates are Tourette's and autism because people react badly to the weird reactions and issues. So an autistic girl with Tourette's, even if I didn't have all the other issues, not a fucking prayer.
Yeah. Well, let's see. What time is it now? It is after 4 here. I think we're going to wrap this one up and then go straight to, I think, a Fortnite.
Oh, God. Fucking hell. You want me to leave, huh? I mean,
no. I just want to, just wrap this portion of the show up.
Yeah, but I don't give a fuck about Fortnite. Fuck that fucking kids game for people who want to shoot them. I hate Fortnite.
Well, the only thing I've left to do on season 1 map is actually win a match for a change.
This is when people realize how much I torture Bob. I don't just sit there. I tell him every time he does Fortnite that Fortnite is a game for children and the people who want to shoot them.
Okay. Sentiments appreciated, but we'll not address it now because of reasons. So yeah, I think I'll just.
That tells me all I need to know. No looking at chat.
Yes, we'll wrap this one up for now. But I think
I'll set one up. Never decker with an unwrapped pecker.
Yes, wrap that rascal. Yeah. Trojan man. Yeah. All right.
Trojan man.
So again, I'm going to fire up the game, start up something here to get something going.
Ew, Fortnite loser.
I don't. I might do a. Depending on how the game cooperates, I might do a. We'll see how it goes, but if it doesn't, I'll just turn it a regular Hangout stream. But otherwise, we will talk at you in a little. This one's wrapping up for late digestion later, but we'll be back in a.
No.